Sure. Okay. Good morning, everybody. So this is my session now on helping rhythms that you've got, helping make them flow. And I took all of these by taking rhythms that do flow well and altering them so that they don't. You get to come up with solutions, which may not be the solutions that the piece came from. It's just fine, right? Part of what you have to identify is where does the rhythm get kind of stuck in a rut? Really loud, right through the door. Can you ask them to move their discussion? Sorry, Trisha. It just, we get this bleeding sound in from outside.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, so we're gonna, thank you, Daisy. Daisy's always helpful. Okay, so we're gonna clap the first one, everybody together. Okay. Let's see. I'll give you 1, 2, 1. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Where does it get stuck? The first part stuck? That stuck? No.
That's the third bar, second half, at least for me.
So right here.
Yeah, I think the second note of the third bar.
Well, it's actually the second bar because we don't count pickup bars.
Oh,
That's the thing you want to know. When you count bars, you count downbeat. So that note right there, the phrase just stopped. Who's got a solution? How can you make it work differently? And just something very small, William, clap it. Clap your solution. Do it from the very beginning. It was better, wasn't it? And that wasn't solution. I love it. We don't necessarily want the solution. Bonnie,
I think
can you unmute when you're talking? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just might be the solution, but
As well. Very good. Trisha, do you have one?
I was thinking maybe change the 8th note to 2/16 notes.
Clap it.
Okay.
You're listening. I think we're not hearing you. You wanted to change this bit here to 4/16?
Yeah.
And so did somebody do that already? William did that too. So 2 of you came up with that. That's cool.
Sorry, I can't really hear the sound of clapping.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to turn on original sound. Let's see. Do more. Tell me if this is better.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, I got the original sound on. So if you're clapping, turn on your original sound. Anybody else have a possible solution? Where? I mean, no 16th notes. So. A rest somewhere, and you're right. Could be. Stephen,
I do kind of have another solution for the box theory you made.
did you unmute?
Yes, I'll unmute. I'll just clap the whole thing.
Are you your original sound on?
Yes,
do you hear me? Good. Since when?
Sorry, I said that with my mute on. It was fun because it had syncopation. Donnie, do you have another one?
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe extending past the box area to the first note of that entire second bar, just two sets of eighth note triplets. So then it'd be oh, did I start a triplet or I think I messed up. I think I didn't play the full value of the quarter note, but that might
Actually, this is Mozart. You know the Mozart symphony.
yeah.
Ba-da-dum,
I thought it was
ba-da-dum,
William
ba-da-dum,
Tell.
bum, ba-da-dum, 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 bum. And you clap two eighth notes at the end because
Yeah.
it feels right. I loved everybody's solutions. That is so cool. It's so easy to play with PDFs these days. Kind of terrifying. Okay. Example B. Everyone clap. We got to go faster on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. What would you do? Yeah, and what is it? Yes. So everyone clap what Bach did. Ready, go. And or Beethoven, I always call this Beethoven's experiment in how many notes of medium speed of the same value can you do in a row before you need to change one. And the answer he got was a dozen. You can do way more 16th notes in a row than that because we could do runs and all that sort of thing. But I'm saying sort of medium length notes in a row before you have to make a change. And the awful thing that sometimes happens is that people teach Ode to Joy in method books, and the method books haven't taught the dotted quarter eighth yet, and they don't use this as a teaching moment. They leave it like this, and that is a travesty. Okay, so that one was easy to recognize. Okay, let's do C. Not quite as fast, but everyone who wants to know what 120 is, do you know what the tune is, you think? Stars and Stripes, bum, 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 ba dee da dee da dee. That's 120, and everybody knows that speed in this country. Anyway, so that's how fast we're going to go. 1, 2, ready, go. And this is one, you can solve it however you want. There's not very many notes there. You don't have to add any notes, but you could. Who's got one? Can you tell it's stuck?
I thought it sounded kind of fine to me.
Let's do it again. 1, 2, ready, go. Something more.
Maybe in between the first and second bars, like just the 4 quarter notes in a row, there's like one of them has to change to something else.
Yeah, and what's the easiest way to change it? Alex. So clap it. Turn off your mute and clap it for everybody.
Okay.
I'm glad you did that because what I was thinking you were going to do was,
No.
which I kind of like, but you had eighth notes again, but also on beat 2 like they were at the beginning. So it might be more interesting to not have them in the same place. Bonnie, you have an idea?
I think
Unmute.
Also work if you just do the first quarter note of the second bar where it gives more impact to the last one.
Landon, do you have one? You look like it.
Yeah, I was thinking the fourth beat of the first bar could be eighths. And then I was also thinking that the first beat of the second bar could be a dotted quarter and then an eighth. I'll clap it.
Okay.
Yes.
That one of the easiest ways to change things, which is what Beethoven did in Ode to Joy, is to do some dotted notes. And this, I'll clap you what it came from if you know the tune. Joy to the world. So that's a dotted eighth on beat 2. Donnie, mute again. Oh, you are muted. Who isn't muted? I don't know. When you have a bunch of notes in a row.
Oh, my computer was just like my audio.
Oh, okay. That was what it was. Very often you can spice up a rhythm just by putting in some dots. And if you're in MuseScore, it's really easy to do because you put a dot on one note and it takes that value away from your next note. If you're in Finale, it's a little more complicated. You actually want to make the next note a shorter note and then dot the first one. But it works either way. So that's a thing to keep in mind. So if you're writing a rhythm and you feel like it's not propelling me to the end, see if there's somewhere you can put in a dotted note. Or a syncopation like Mozart did in a symphony, right? Ba-da-dum, 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 bum. Boy, does that make us want to hear what comes next, right? Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. We wouldn't know the symphony. We'd done that. Like, it would not work. This one, I think I didn't put in the actual changed version in my answers, which is kind of cool. So, very long. Do you want to do a really long one? Okay, let's all clap it. Now, this is dotted half note equals 50. 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. Oh, and it could be. Now, here's one of those instances where you have tons of notes in a row that are the same value that are kind of medium. So this is a great one to play with dotted notes on. It won't sound as much like a lullaby. This could be a good rhythm for a lullaby, couldn't it? And it has a very subtle syncopation by having half notes on beat 2. Because beat 2 is not the accented beat in it's a dance. In 3/4, a lot of pieces in 3/4 are dances. Donnie, unmute.
I don't necessarily have
a solution, but I think the problem is end of bar 3, beginning of bar 4, and then I think there might be another one later too. But that's the first one that stuck out to me. Something about it doesn't feel like it flows into the measure.
Me. And I'd agree. Something needs to happen there, unless you're writing a lullaby, right?
Could we
It's got a
try?
solution. It can be based on what Zani said or not.
Do you think we could try dotting the quarter note in bar 3 and then having like an eighth note pick up?
Nobody? If I give you a hint that I took it from a Chopin mazurka, then what would Chopin do? He would not do this, would he? In a mazurka in particular. Something like this. And you see, it's common with this and Ode to Joy that you can have a bunch of eighth notes in a row, but then where the dotted one comes is the last pair. Instead of having 2 even eighth notes, you have even. Oh, let's get to letter E. Yeah, it's funny, I didn't put in all them. This one, it doesn't matter what it comes from. So you have, we're going to clap it, you've got 2 long notes, and then you have a bunch of short notes, and then a long note. What's the function of all of those short notes? Rhythmically. Anybody, Donnie, you have an idea?
I mean, giving energy to to contrast the beginning slow and then building up energy to the end.
Yes, building up energy to the end. Now see if when we clap it, it feels like the energy builds up to the end. Or if you can come up with a better way. 1, 2, ready, go. We were in 2, right? Did it feel like it built to the last whole note? Now you could theoretically make it sound that way by having pitches that go up, right? What could you do besides that? William hasn't answered in a while.
Should I just snap it out?
Yeah, clap it out, and we'll see if we could notate it.
So my idea was just like have first have like 2 eighth notes and then at the end there's 16 notes.
Would you do any triplets?
Yeah, like in the middle.
Ah, yeah. So how about 2 eighth notes, 2 triplets, and 2 sets of 16th notes? Everybody clap. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, that's hard. 1, 2, and right? So that's doing 2s to 3s to 4s. Anyone build on that, Donnie?
Mine was kind of going the opposite direction. The first and third set of triplets in the third bar, replacing with quarter notes. So then I'll just do it from the beginning of the triplets.
Okay.
Wait. Oh no. Wait. Yeah. Okay. Starting from the triplets would be.
Now, and do that again, but make your last one a quadruplet.
Okay. Oh.
That's a solution. Yeah. You can do what's called a written out accelerando. And feel free to use 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, whatever you want to use, depending on what tempo you are in. Does that make sense? So you can do a rhythmic, it's like a rhythmic crescendo in a way, because you build up so much stuff, where if you're just doing triplets, at the end it's like, well, did we really get there? it can be more difficult to play, but it can be more satisfying to hear and actually easier to play musically. Harder to play technically, but it's a cool thing to do. So are you guys getting the hang of this? Which ones would you still like to do? Oh, here I got the answer. Oh yeah, let's do F. I didn't give you a tempo, it's 80. That's why I didn't, because it's still 80. But it's 80, yeah, it's 80 half note, isn't it? Thumb, 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 thumb. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Stephen, unmute.
All right. Okay, I just heard something similar in rhythm, but not exactly the same. But I'll play what I'm thinking. Here we go.
Sorry, it did have better motion, I think. Trisha, do you have any ideas?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I muted my, sorry, can you say it again? Because I muted my computer so that I wouldn't echo. And then I
So
didn't.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I tried to say something last time, but then you weren't answering, so I thought my audio must not be working again.
Your audio is working. I was trying to make myself not echo. Do you want to do the previous one?
No, I forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry.
You have one for this one?
No, sorry, I could probably do the next one.
Okay. Landon, did you have one?
I guess I was thinking that maybe the last one right there.
And have a dotted rhythm. Da 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 da. Yeah. Funny.
I was thinking that starting with the first measure, rather than making it a quarter note pickup, make it either an eighth or a 16th, and then basically keep doing that like a bunch of times. For almost all of them,
Do you unmute? Unmute so Trisha can hear you.
Yeah. So I was thinking that rather than having a quarter note pickup, having an eighth or 16th note pickup, and then I was thinking a 16th note pickup, and then kind of continue that pattern throughout. So it's
Cool. Yeah.
it kind of like sequences it rather than it just being.
Yep. Yep. Now there's a totally different solution, which is what it came from. Taking a third of the last 3 eighth notes of each pattern of 4 eighth notes and making that a triplet on the second beat. This is what I took it from. Let's see. So if you have 4 eighth notes, there are other solutions too. If you want exactly that many pitches, you can say, oh, I'm going to make the first 3 a triplet. I'm going to make the last 3 a triplet. Or those of you who saw the thing about what makes a memorable tune memorable will know that repeated notes are good, right? So you could decide, I'm going to repeat one of those notes so I can do a triplet and add a note Anyway, to see if there's any of these other ones that are particularly good. There's a lot, aren't there? H.
What song is that from?
Oh, Beethoven Sonata, First Sonata in F minor. Opus 2, number 1. Ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum. You know, ba-dum, ba-dum. Beethoven knew how to use rhythm, really knew how to use rhythm. Whenever you feel stuck in rhythm, go look at Beethoven scores. Because other people had other talents like melodic talent. Mozart could write melody till the cows came home. I've got all my answers, yes. So J is another one where you change, rather than 4 and 4, you can do 3 and 5, or 5 and 6. And you could do 3, 5, 7, and get to the next note, right? So that you do that rhythmic crescendo. I think you feel like you have the feeling for how this works. And I'm often saying this to students in lessons. Yes, William. Yes, Kevin. Yes, Stephen. It gets stuck there. Try a dotted note. You pick where. But it has to do with this. And if you just take the rhythm out by itself, it can really help what you're doing. Now, I had folks who were requesting that we work on the canon for a few minutes. And Tricia wasn't here and doesn't know about this tradition of writing a canon at junior composers. And I have to go to Google Drive to download it because the computer I was working on was the other one, and I put it up in the cloud so I can go find it. Let's see, Google Drive. Not iDrive. My Drive. Here we go. It'll just take a second to get it going, and then I have to open up. Shared.
Would adding grace notes like make a rhythm unstuck?
It can. Absolutely. That was what Landon was doing. Wasn't it Landon or was it Zani? You were doing little notes beforehand as opposed to a true pickup. It was almost a grace note. Absolutely. Shared. No, shared with me. Come on, computer, don't be so darn slow. And I put it in here. CI training. And it is, here it is. Download this baby. Oh, and there's that picture of Jacob eating ice cream from way back when. But now I have to shrink you. Oh, okay. I can't shrink you because I'm recording. But what I can do is go here and get this MuseScore running and open this thing I downloaded. We're supposed to work at this. Allow access. What is the... Okay. And open other. And it's such a hefty program, it takes a while to open. Now I'm going to share screen. Make this guy bigger. Share screen. And because I hear you guys have been figuring out what you want to add to it. I want to move our window over a bit so we can make it bigger. Can you see that okay, Trish?
Yeah, I'm loving the lyrics.
Yeah, this was from Charlie. The chairs in the dorm rooms are really kind of crazy. You kind of lean back and all of a sudden you feel like you're going to fall back and hit your head on the floor. So that's what it came from, and it's going to be a canon, so these are voices, and we wrote the first part and then we copied it in and decided when things were going to be changed. So we got this far. So where we would be adding this time would be voice 1 here, which has to go with all of this stuff with both other voices, right? And what ideas did you all have that you wanted included in the canon going forward? I heard people had ideas. What were they? Yes? What did you say? Grim is?
Grimace Shake.
Grimace Shake?
Yeah, it's a bit of an inside joke, but the Grimace Shake is a new item McDonald's released.
Literally?
Yeah.
Grimace?
Grimace, like the character from McDonald's, the big purple blob with mace. Grimace.
Oh.
They made a meal and it's like the color of his body, so it's like you're eating Grimace.
Everything is happy birthday, Grimace.
Ooh. What color is Grimace?
It's like purple, but it's like plastic purple. It feels like
Purple.
Toy purple. Yeah, exactly. It's like very like baby. Kind of pastel, very uniform.
What does it taste like?
Blueberry.
Okay, blueberry shake that's purple, Grimace. Is that what you want to do, or do you want to do something about Flash or doing the prank Jacob? What? Oaken and Smokin'? Oaken and Smokin'. What?
Oaken and Smokin'.
Pranking Jacob. Okay, so talk about it so we can come up with a sentence. Scare him or
Prank Jacob.
to prank Jacob?
Jacob got pranked by. Wait, it's in 3.
Jacob got pranked, right?
With colored balloons. Yeah, we have video recording of Jacob reacting to the balloons.
Jacob got pranked or
By colored balloons.
okay, so you've seen the sessions with Jacob, right, Trish? And some of these people blew up a whole bunch of balloons and put them in the studio where he's teaching and enticed him to go there and this morning so they could prank him. Jacob got pranked with colored balloons. Jacob got, what's that rhythm? Yes, I want you to tell me how to write it down, Alex. Jacob got. Here's what you ask yourself. Is the first note a beat, less than a beat, or greater than a beat? Jacob. It's what? It's more than one. Then listen for when the second half of his name comes. Jacob got. Jacob got. Got a quarter. 5 minutes, WWXD. Okay, so we need a doc here. And do we want to start it here or wait a measure? I think we have to start it here. What's a good note with F sharp? And remember, we didn't want to get too much higher because we have the We have B up to C, and that's a 7th. That's okay, but we don't want to go too much higher. Plus, R to F is up, so it would be nice if we went down. What's the note down from B that sounds good with F sharp?
Hey,
A. You see how there's a logic to that?
we feel B flat too on the major, but or an A sharp.
We want to be in our key.
Okay.
We're in E minor. So now we need to go to a note that will also work with F sharp and C.
I think we might need to start this part a measure forward.
Well, no, this will work. What note will go with F sharp and C?
No, I mean like this is like the measure where it had the previous part. I think. Did you include the pickup measure in the measure count?
I hate the chairs at UWRF. Yep. God. Well, we're not to the end of it yet. When we get to the end, we have to leave an 8th rest, right? We're just starting. With F sharp and C, we have 2 choices. And now you have to think chords. We could do B sharp and then we'd have a diminished chord, right? We could do A again and have a different diminished chord. The advantage of going to A is then we could just do a neighbor tone in between. What do you think? And what neighbor tone would you like? You want the lower neighbor, D, the upper neighbor, B. You want to sharp the lower neighbor.
I'd probably go B.
And we're going to listen from here. So this will work, won't it? We will continue this later, possibly at the lounge tonight. Jacob got. And I'm going to save it. And then I believe I need to sign off of the meeting. Thank you all for being here. And Randall isn't in the room, so I'm going to clean up everything, but he can start now.